Thank you, Melody and Brian, and hello, everyone. For the program we're putting in the spotlight this afternoon, it's opening day of Season 2. Tough Love is a dramedy about 6 people of color learning the millennial life in Brooklyn and the rest of NYC, for that matter. A big part of that life, as you can surmise in the title, how tough it can get to win at the game of love.
Men don't realize the way we act is because of the things they've done. I think women are naturally trusting, understanding, and loving creatures. But when a man messes up and somehow breaks that trust, we get a little psycho. But we still forgive.
This is the point of no return. No looking.
You're choosing to be weak.
Wow.
That's what you're choosing.
No.
All right, let's play some games, y'all. This time last year, we had almost double the amount of clients we have now. The business was growing at one point, and now it's just diminishing.
I'm not saying you have to go that route. There are other ways to go about it.
You know some of the most dominant creatures on the planet are women?
I regret having the truth right in front of my face and still somehow allowing myself to believe the lies. I know what time it is, Darius. Evidently, you don't. Goodbye.
Who you think you
I want you in every single room, and we have several of them.
playing with my
I just want to be clear that I'm not looking for anything serious. I enjoy being single.
Yes, Jordan, I know the rules. Just like I always tell you, just really like pleasing.
Look at her. She can't help herself. Stop judging. She's gonna be alone forever.
I'm not crying.
Yo, you ain't shit but when the Jordans jump off. Y'all dudes don't want no problems with me.
I thought maybe we can do some other stuff.
You would come here and risk us both getting caught?
This is the point of no return. No looking back. No looking back.
Yes.
We've reached the point of no return.
And how do you want to celebrate her?
No turning back. No turning back.
If you have a smart television set, YouTube is the place to watch Tough Love. Or you can see it on the indie website Black and Sexy TV. And now in our studio, Tough Love's creator and producers, Caleb Davis and Roni Simpson. Caleb, Roni, welcome to BK Live.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us, Simon.
You're very welcome to both of you. And if I was the host on Match Game, I might introduce this segment this way. Tough Love is so tough. And the audience would go, how tough is it? Your answer, Caleb?
Tough Love, how tough is Tough Love? Extremely tough, because me and Roni, this is my fiance, and you know, we've been in love for 8+ years, and there's always ups and downs. So, you know, we know that it could be at extreme high or extreme low. So that's how.
Roni, what do you and Caleb want to say in this series about being a millennial, particularly a millennial of color here in New York?
I think it's pretty difficult being a millennial of color here in New York. Not only do you have to, you know, focus on your career, trying to survive. It's a very expensive place. But you also have the relationship difficulties. And we are surrounded by lots of friends, lots of young millennials. And our apartment actually became a place that's kind of like a counseling session. We have lots of friends that come over, tell us about their dating problems and their issues. And it gets really tough.
And what do they suggest when they counsel you about which way to go in your relationship you know?
Oh, we're actually the counselors. And what we often suggest is, you know, there are certain relationships, like you'll see in the show, that you just need to let go, give it up. That's what we'll say a lot of times. But there's some that you have to work through and, you know, persevere. And we also show that in the show. We try to show all different aspects of dating life.
Caleb, how much did both of you have to persevere to get this series on the air in the first place?
It took a lot of hard work. Originally, I was doing a lot of indie films in New York City, and then Roni was like, I want to attach my words to your films. So it took, you know, a intensive script writing process that Roni Simpson wrote. And after that, the casting process, you know, that takes a lot of time, just finding the right actors. We went out and searched over the internet, via Instagram, via Facebook, via Craigslist, just to find actors. And then from that process, filming. Just producing, finding locations throughout Brooklyn, finding locations to film in, such as, you know, our place, friends' places, and then from there the editing process, and then putting it on the net.
Where'd you go in Brooklyn to film?
We went to Noel's Kitchen. That's one of the restaurants. It's actually a fairly new Cajun restaurant. We did Komoto restaurant. It's like a nice rooftop bar. We filmed at a lot of like Airbnb places, a lot of apartments. Actually, the Brooklyn Bridge Park. We did some scenes by the water there. So we were all over, straight guerrilla style.
What did both of you say to the actors about how you want to, A, play the dialogue that you wrote, Roni, and Caleb, how you take your direction?
I told the actors, be very natural. You know, just really play the character as you would play the character. Like, I don't want it to be extra out and theatrical. You know, it takes a lot because we had a lot of young actors. Some actors on here, first time going off, some seasoned actors that's been doing this for years. So if they just bring a naturalistic approach to it, then it's easy to digest, you know, the script and also the performance.
Yeah, because it's very real. The stories are very real. They come from a lot of our own friend situations, a lot of our own situations. So we want people to connect with it, and that people have actually been really connecting with it. So we're excited about that.
Now, you both produced the series. You write, Roni. You direct, Caleb. In season 2, do you get the chance to switch roles, where Roni you do directing and Caleb you do the writing?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Like sometimes the actors, they'll sit down with Roni and be like, you know, how does this character feel? Like, for instance, Ebony Obsidian, who plays Alicia, she really likes to dive into her character. So she'll sit down with Roni and she'll say, Roni, you know, what type of food does Alicia like on Monday? You know, she really wants to know the full detail. And that's some information that I can't provide as a director, because Roni deep down knows inside these characters a little bit more. But me, you know, as a director, then I'll have to just say, you know, Alicia, you know, put the food aside, you know, let's get your performance out. But she can.
And he also jumps in on the writing as I'm writing the script. He's like, that doesn't really make sense. And then also he'll say, that's a great idea, but there's no way we can film this on this budget. So he'll switch that around as well. So we do cross a lot, and we have our issues on set a lot of times, figuring out, I need to stay in my place. A lot of times I'm like jumping in, taking over as the director, and he's like, I got this. So it's a lot of growing together and figuring out that process. Yeah.
In the last live segment, we had Paul Calderon say that he met his wife in an acting class that he started. How did you two meet?
We met in college, actually. I was a freshman in college, and he was a sophomore. University of California, Riverside. So it was both in California. We were both from Los Angeles.
When did you make the move to New York?
5 years ago. So straight out of college, straight out of film school, moved to New York City. She was going to the new school in the city, and basically I just started my filmmaking career here. And, you know, we just kind of just came together. We were in love. It got to the point where I actually proposed earlier this year. So, excuse me, earlier 2016. So, yeah, just, you know.
When's the wedding date?
June 16th this year.
Good date.
Yeah.
Good date. You're one of the latest examples of couples, whether married or in love, that are doing television series or doing web series. When you both deal on the same job, trying to create a show like this, how do you resolve issues that pop up, whether it's production or whether it's just, you know, point of view in directing, point of view in writing, point of view with cinematography, point of view in the tone of the way the show goes, direction?
A lot, like I said, a lot of learning, a lot of, we've had our disputes. It's just a lot of sitting down and getting an understanding. Sometimes there's I'm like, I wrote it this way, and he sees it a different way. So we just have to really meet in the middle a lot of times. There's a lot of, you know, giving and taking. I'm like, okay, we'll cut that scene out. I got to kill my baby. Or or I'll fight for it, and he'll be like, okay. So it's just a lot of learning. We grew a lot from filming of first season to the filming of second season. Our actors will tell you there was quite a bit of a struggle the first season, but second season things worked a lot smoother, and we kind of just learned how each other work, how we work together.
And also, I think we had an assessment between 1 and 2. We sat down with each of the actors, and we had them, rate us on just our directing, producing, writing, performance, and we rated them on their acting performance. And when they rated us, they said, oh, you guys were good. We see that you guys brought the project to life, but you guys, the way you guys go back and forth on set, you gotta tone that down a little bit. So then, we came up with a strategy. We don't want to have any type of dialogue or any confrontations in front of the cast. So in season 2, we put each other to the side and said, if there's any differences, we'll solve it to the side and not in front of the cast.
So with that foundation, how does season 2 build on season 1? How do your characters, how do your storylines evolve, or maybe in the case of some characters, devolve?
There's a lot of growth in each character. The first season was more about the situations, what they were going through at the time, and then we got our feedback from viewers that said, I want to know the backstory. I want to know why Jackson is so cold-hearted to women. I want to know why Jordan is so hurt by men. So second season, we plan to show them more of the backstory of each character and why they are the way they are.
In the last year or two, we have seen a number of web series graduate to becoming TV series. High Maintenance, which was on Vimeo, became an HBO series last year. Great acclaim, back for another season later this year. You had Issa Rae, which you talked about in The Green Room. Awkward Black Girl on YouTube, now Insecure, one of the big, great shows of this past fall on HBO. That's coming back for a second season. You're on Black and Sexy TV, which is an indie website. However, about a year and a half ago, they were able to get a number of series late night, 11 o'clock and past on BET. Do you have plans to graduate from being a show that if you have a smart TV set, you get YouTube, you can see it, to one where no matter whether you have a smart TV set or not, or a smart device or not, like Roku or Chromecast, you can see your show?
Absolutely. That's the plan. Definitely shout out to Issa Rae. She created the template for us to even create content like this. We saw that a lot of this content was being made back in Los Angeles. And we said we want to bring these elements to New York City, love and relationships. And to see her go from YouTube through the Black and Sexy channel over to HBO, that inspires us all the time. We're big cheerleaders. We root on for her content, and also seeing High Maintenance, also shows like Broad City, going to comedy, from web series to Comedy Central. We really just kind of study just their movements, places where they went, just really attacking that web series market to broadcast television. So that's where we we're just kind of studying. We don't know the exact plan, but we're studying.
Yeah,
well, ideally, what network or what service would you like to be on?
I mean, obviously HBO is the main goal, I think,
Yeah.
but we're open. We get a lot of viewers that say, this needs to be on BET, this needs to be on Centric, this needs to be on TV One. We're completely open. A network deal would be awesome.
What do both of you think about the status of diversity on television right now? Certainly it was a lot, we're continuing to see steps on all levels. Everyone is, I think, pretty clear. It's not one silver bullet that's going to make it all go, but it's certainly better than it was a year ago, whether it's been with shows like American Crime, whether it's been with things like Issa Rae and Insecure, whether it's been the development of projects since the Academy Awards like We for She, the Alice Institute, what Julie Mann is doing with the Made in New York Writers Room, the women's project she's putting together. What do you think should be the next step or next set of steps that this city, this borough should take to bring in more people of color, more women of color into television?
Creating your own, to be honest. Like, we're really excited about the diversity that's on television right now. And as we see that a lot of people are their own creators, you have to create the content that you want to see. And we're so grateful for this era to where you can just grab a camera, you can grab a crew and a team and create and put it on YouTube and gain that popularity. And that's the advice we give everyone. Like, if you want to do it, do it. That's what we did. And so if you want to see more diversity, you have to be the one to get out there and make it happen.
In addition, we see that a lot of people reach out to us and just ask us, how do we do it? What was the motivation? What were the skill sets that we needed to learn? What programs are we editing on? What are we shooting with? So I plan after everything is done with season 2 is just to have just open up a little course, rent out a room here in Brooklyn and just invite people over and just kind of go over the basic steps. Just a one-day slideshow of just each step that it took us to make our web series, and just invite people out and just know that they can do something just like this.
Oh, incidentally, YouTube has a service Netflix-like called YouTube Red, which is trying to do more. Have you been in contact, because you're on YouTube now, you've been in contact with Suzanne Daniels and her crew about perhaps getting on there?
No, we haven't been in contact with YouTube Red, but we do utilize the YouTube space over in the Chelsea market. When we reached our 10,000 subscriber mark, we actually had access to the YouTube space. So that's some conversations that we were looking to ask when we'll be there the following Tuesday to air episode 6 to our followers.
So before we go, how long do you see your show going? You've got season 2 now. Ideally, how many more seasons do you want to go?
We are really just kind of putting it in the hands of the fans right now because they really support us. Season 2 was supported by the fans. We put it up on a GoFundMe and raised $10,000+. So they really helped bring this to life. So,
are you, by the way, getting any fan feedback? Is a thought of maybe doing a Kickstarter, an Indiegogo, some sort of crowdfunding, equity crowdfund campaign to raise some money?
Absolutely. On our YouTube page, we have a support button. So we have fans that come in, they drop a little bit of money that helps us with, marketing, advertising, and just, eating. So we definitely have fans that support right now and give us good feedback.
Yeah.
Caleb, Ron, it's been a pleasure to have both of you on. Congratulations on going into season 2. Hopefully many, many more, and hopefully wider exposure on television.
Yes, thank you, Simon.
Thanks for having us.
Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you both on BK Live today.
Thank you.
And you can learn more about Tough Love at YouTube and Black and Sexy TV's websites or the program's Facebook page. Now an update. We kicked off BK Live's 2017 last Monday with HITN TV, the Spanish language channel based in Brooklyn, and its chief executive, Michael Nieves, right here in our studio. Now, shortly after our session, Charter Spectrum, which carries BRIC TV here in Brooklyn and Manhattan, launched HITN in many of its Texas cable systems, pushing the network's national reach past 42 million households. Also, HITN wrapped up its participation with New York Cares on its annual holiday coat campaign, assisting that organization to attract more than 200,000 unused coats for needy citizens this winter. CBS follows the AFC Championship game, and that should be a dandy Sunday night with the premiere of Hunted, a chase-oriented reality competition. I'll be speaking with the producers Friday afternoon on Tomorrow Be Televised, Friday at 3 right here on Blog Talk Radio. And speaking of things to come, let's learn about tomorrow's BK Live from Brian and Melody. Folks.